What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Wager Zone podcast, and we are back for another UFC event breakdown. Alright guys, I'm sorry I got this video kind of late because I've totally spaced that this event was in Abu Dhabi. I totally spaced that it was going to be at 7 a.m. in the morning, so I'm kind of getting this video out late. But yeah, the first fight of the night, guys, is going to be Rinat taking on Carlos Leal. And I've watched a lot of Carlos Leal's fights in the regional scenes in LFA. He's a UAE Warrior now, guys. He was in PFL. This guy has been in a lot of different places and he's fought, but Carlos Leal's a pretty decent striker. But the one thing this guy's always lost the reason why he's always lost is because he has no takedown defense. Yeah, I literally think that's how Rinat's going to attack him. I think Rinat's going to come out here and have a boring fight, take him down over and over again. Carlos Leal gets back up, he gets taken back down again. I don't think this is going to be a very competitive fight. If this fight somehow remains standing and Carlos Leal comes in here and has some takedown defense, yeah, he's probably going to win a striking battle, but I just think Rinat's going to take him down over and over again. It's going to be one of those boring fights where he holds him down, and this fight is in Abu Dhabi, so the ref's not going to stand them up. The crowd's not going to be booing because they actually appreciate the wrestling over there a lot more than the United States. So, yeah, guys, for this fight, I'm going to be taking Rinat by decision. I don't think he finishes Carlos Leal. Like I said, I think it's going to be a boring fight with takedowns over and over again. We're just grinding out the whole entire fight. So give me Rinat by decision. In this next fight, it's going to be Ismail Nordiev taking on Bruno Silva. And in this one, guys, I've seen that Ismail is very powerful in that first round. He comes out there and tries to get a finish in the first round. His gas tank is very low, so he always gasses out for the most part in that first round. And after that first round, I think Bruno Silva is a very live underdog. So I'm going to be attacking this from a live betting perspective, guys, because I don't want to take Ismail on the money line and then he goes out there and gasses out and loses me money. So I'm just going to totally stay away from it. It's going to be a dogger pass for me, but more of a live bet dogger pass where Bruno Silva gets beat up in that first round. And if he doesn't get submitted, if he does not get knocked out in that first round, I think Ismail's going to fall off the chain and just totally gas out. And Bruno Silva's going to be a live underdog. So that's how I'm going to be attacking this fight, guys. I'm going to be taking Bruno Silva as a live bet. Alright guys, and I have a 3-leg parlay I'm going to be making. It's going to be my most confident parlay of the night, and it's going to be the first leg of it. It's going to be Farid Basharat taking on Victor Hugo, and I'm going to be taking Farid Basharat, guys, not Victor Hugo. I'm going to be taking Farid Basharat. I like this guy a lot. He's very smart. He fights kind of boring, where it's very technical, where he strikes on the outside, he takes you down over and over again, and he just has a very technical, great game plan every single time he steps in there. I think the only way Victor Hugo wins this fight is if he pulls a guillotine out of nowhere where you don't even see it coming from. But like I said, I like Farid Basharat a lot. He's one of those very smart fighters like John Jones, GSP, Khabib, where they don't go out there and put themselves in dangerous spots. They go out there and just fight a smart game plan, especially, or like if we want to talk about recent people like Cal Baralio puts up great fights, but he's always in there with a great game plan. So give me Farid Basharat to beat Victor Hugo in this one, guys. I think he wins this fight either by submission or decision, one of those two, because I do think his fight's going to be for the most part on the ground, but for the most part I do think it's going to be a decision victory for Farid Basharat. So give me him as the first leg. This next fight of the night is going to be Kennedy Nzechukwu taking on Chris Barnett. And honestly, guys, this is one of those fights that is probably the most low-level fight in the UFC they could possibly put on in the heavyweight division. Chris Barnett, in my opinion, might be the worst fighter in the UFC. It was Jake Collier, the worst fighter in the UFC. Then Chris Barnett beat him. And I actually had money on Jake Collier that night. And it was a horrible fight where Chris Barnett ended up pulling it out, where Chris Barnett looked like his face was having a stroke or his jaw was broken or something. His face was just hanging out. Like, it was weird. Like, it was the weirdest thing I've ever seen in the fight. But Kennedy Nzechukwu is also one of those guys that just has no chin at all. Like, Ovin St. Preux beat this guy, and Ovin St. Preux is already over the water. And I took Ovin St. Preux in that one because I literally think Kennedy Nzechukwu is literally one of the worst fighters in the UFC. He's making his heavyweight debut in this fight, so he's going to be giving up a lot of weight to Chris Barnett. I think Chris Barnett honestly walks around like 300 pounds, and this guy is honestly really big. He's one of those athletic, really big guys that throws spinning wheel kicks and everything. And honestly, I don't really want to have a bet on this fight, but if you guys want to make a bet on this fight, you guys were taking something, you might as well just take Chris Barnett by knockout, guys. That line is up to like a plus 800, plus 850. You might as well just go for it. Like, there's no reason to bet this fight, but if you want to have a bet on this fight where I think it's the two most low-level heavyweights, anything can happen in a heavyweight fight. So go take Chris Barnett by knockout, guys, at the plus 900. I'm not going to be putting too much on it. I'll probably put a small wager on Chris Barnett because it's my boy Chris Barnett. I like this guy. He's one of the most entertaining fighters like in MMA if you guys pay attention to MMA. But I think this is going to be his last fight in the UFC. He might as well get, he most likely will get knocked out and finished by Kennedy Njoku, but like I said, you get Chris Barnett, a guy that's probably one of the worst heavyweights in the division that is chinny, where Chris Barnett can just land that one punch and knock him out. You might as well take that plus 900 ticket, guys. So next fight is going to be Abus Magomedov taking on Bruno Ferreira. And I'm going to be taking Abus Magomedov in this one, guys. I was going to be taking Bruno Silva all week. I thought Bruno Silva might be one of those guys that could just land one of those hard shots, keep the fight standing up and knocking him out, because Abus Magomedov's gas tank isn't really all the way there because he usually throws it all in the first round. Then he just kind of just strolls through the second and third where he just takes you down and holds you down the whole entire time. But I think Bruno Silva's gas tank's not that good either. I think Bruno Silva's one of those guys that's going to go in there throwing heavy strikes, and he's not going to land, and he's not going to land as much, and he's going to be taken down easily because when he's throwing those wild hooks, Abus Magomedov's going to be able to get to his legs, take him down, end up grinding him out for a decision victory. I don't think Abus Magomedov's going to finish Bruno Ferreira. I think this fight is going to be, honestly, one of those fights where Abus Magomedov wins the first 2 rounds by just ground control, and that third round, Bruno Ferreira is going to be a dog, where he's going to come in there after Abus Magomedov has gassed out, and Bruno Ferreira is going to start landing some hard shots. So this could be one of those fights, guys, where we can get a draw where Abus wins the first 2 rounds and Bruno Ferreira 10-8s him, and we get a draw in this one. But I'm going to be taking Abus Magomedov. I do think he wins this fight via decision, so I'm just going to be taking him, guys. I'm going to be taking the guy, especially if they're in Abu Dhabi. People have some money out there that be putting on some fights. We know they be doing some weird shit out there in Abu Dhabi. So yeah, guys, give me Abus Magomedov, guys. I'm going to be taking him because if this fight goes to the decision, I do think it's going to be a... Alright, guys, in this next fight is going to be Mateusz Rebacki taking Orobai. I don't know how to pronounce his first name, so I'm just going to call him Orobai. And Orobai is honestly a really big guy for this weight class. He shouldn't be in this weight class. He fights really high. I think he missed the weight, and that's the reason why they're having it a little higher. And Rebacki just said, you know what, I can just gain some pounds and go out there and fight you as well. But honestly, guys, I'm taking Mateusz Rebacki. Mateusz Rebacki was a giant favorite in his last fight. Then he went out there and fought Santos, where Santos was actually a decent fighter, and he just went out there and shit the bed, guys. I was really mad that day because I literally had a 11 fight parlay that night, and the only person that lost there was Rebacki, and I was just telling everybody Rebecki's done. I'm not going to be betting on him anymore. And here I am, the next fight, betting on Rebacki because I do think he's going to beat Orobai. I think Orobai is going to go out there, have a good first round, and eventually just gas out. And Rebacki, like I said, he was a minus 500 favorite, the biggest favorite on the whole entire card, and then he loses it for everybody. Now I feel like everyone's just going against him now, so I don't know. I think this fight on the line should be a lot closer. I'm not saying Rebecki's going to win for sure. He's not one of my confident picks of the night. But if you're going to be giving me a guy that was just a giant favorite, then he loses one fight and everyone's saying, oh, he's a fraud, it's fraud watch. But what about Orobai? How do we not know he's a fraud? He's finally fighting someone that's actually decent. He's not going to be able to take Rebacki down over and over again because Rebacki has his own really good wrestling. So I think this is going to be a dog fight. To me, it's more of a 50-50 fight. And if you're giving me a line on a giant underdog like Mateusz Rebacki, I'm going to hop all over it, guys. So give me Mateusz Rebacki as an underdog. Alright, guys, this next fight is going to be Jeff Neal taking on Rafael dos Santos. And this fight, honestly, guys, I think we should just stay away from it. If you're confident in Jeff Neal, throw Jeff Neal one of your parlays. But Rafael dos Santos is one of those guys that he doesn't throw strikes anymore. He just tries to take you down the whole entire time. And the only people that beat Rafael dos Santos are the guys that take him down. So I don't know if Jeff Neal's going to try to strike with him. Try to take him down. I think Jeff Neal's going to try to keep the fight standing and strike with him. But both these guys are getting up there in age. Rafael dos Santos even more. He's up there in his 40s now. But I think this fight is a fight where we should just stay away from, because if you guys have that minus 300 ticket on your parlays with Jeff Neal and he goes out there and just gets taken down over and over again by Dos Santos, you guys are going to be really mad he has had that ticket. And honestly, the opposite side, if you guys have Dos Santos in the underdog ticket and you're confident in him, you're going to be really mad if he goes out there just shooting his takedowns very horrible, tiredness takedowns where you can't get it over and over again. You're gonna be really mad for that ticket. So in this fight, guys, I'm gonna be picking Rafael dos Santos just a pick to win, may have him win the boring fight where he just takes you down, or takes a Jeff Neal down over and over again. But it's not one of my confident picks, guys. I'm gonna be putting a very small wager on this one, even if I bet it. But most likely, I'm probably not even gonna be betting this one at all. But the pick on this one. All right, guys, the next fight is going to be Ibo Islam taking on Rafael Sequeira. And I'm going to be taking Ibo in this one, guys. I just think the UFC liked this guy a lot, so they're setting him up with decent fighters. They put him up against... Let me tell you guys something. This is his third fight or fourth fight he is scheduled for this card. He was supposed to be fighting a whole bunch of different people, and they just keep throwing people at him. And now he's got Rafael Sequeira coming at him on short notice. And honestly, this is a fight where it should be 50-50 on paper, but I just think with this fight, it's going to be going back and forth. Somebody might get knocked out right away, and I just think Ibo has the harder strikes. But if this fight does go to the decision, a lot of people in Abu Dhabi like this guy. A lot of people in Abu Dhabi are probably going to put in a lot of money on this guy. So, to me, this fight is probably going to be one of those light heavyweight fights where someone gets knocked out right away and it's 50-50. I'm not going to have too much of a bet on this one, too much of a wager on this one, but at the same exact time, I'm gonna take Ibo Islam, guys, because if this fight goes to decision, I believe the Abu Dhabi is gonna give him this fight just because they want to keep moving his career forward. So give me Ibo in this one, guys. It's not gonna be a confident pick, but he's... All right, guys, and this next one's going to be Shara Bullet Magomedov taking out Armen Petrosyan, and I'm going to be taking Shara Bullet, guys. The person that's going to beat Shara Bullet is the person that's going to be able to take him down over and over again, where they're going to be able to grind on top of him. And I don't think Armen Petrosyan is going to do that. Maybe he shoots a couple takedowns, but he's not the wrestler that is going to be able to take Shara Bullet down over and over again. I think this fight's going to come out to where it's a kickboxing match, and that's the type of fight that Shara Bullet can almost beat everybody in the UFC in. If you give him a kickboxing match where you can keep the distance and just throw his crazy kicks and land some heavy strikes, I just think he's a really great striker where he's very fast, he's very technical, but the person that's going to beat him is a person that's going to take him down, grind him out, that end up getting, maybe even getting a submission victory over him. But Armen Petrosyan is not that guy. Armen Petrosyan is another kickboxer that has good kickboxing as well, but I don't think he's on the same level as Shara Bullet. And I think if Armen Petrosyan tries to take him down, he might get 1 or 2 takedowns in the beginning. Then he's going to gas out. And then he's going to use all his energy for those takedowns in the beginning of the fight. Then he's going to have no gas at the end of the fight. And then Shara Bullet's going to take over. So give me Shara Bullet on the money line on this one, guys. I think he ends up winning the fight. I just think it's going to come down to where he's either going to be the better striker because Armen's going to end up striking with him, or Armen's going to try to take him down, get 1 takedown in the beginning, and then ends up gassing out. And Shara Bullet takes over. So give me All right, guys, this is going to be the second leg of my most confident parlay of the night, guys. It's going to be with Freed Basharat. I'm going to be taking Lerone Murphy in this one against Dan Ige, guys. I think Lerone Murphy has the better striking, and I think he has the better wrestling. Honestly, I think he's a better all-around fighter than Dan Ige at this point. Dan Ige is almost about the same age as Lerone Murphy, but Dan Ige, he's been here for a while. We've seen this guy for a long time, been in wars and everything, and Lerone Murphy has shown in his last fight that his striking is honestly getting to a different level, and his wrestling is really good too now. And the only people that are trying to actually beating Lerone Murphy are the guys that are trying to take him down and hold him down because they don't want to strike with this guy. And Dan Ige is not the greatest wrestler. He does have a high school like wrestling he was actually really good, but he was not a collegiate wrestler. He was never really good at taking people down over and over again. That's not his type of style. He's 50K Ige. He's the guy that's gonna go out there and try to bang with you and try to get that 50K bonus. And if he goes out there and tries to do that with Lerone Murphy, I think Lerone Murphy can either just take him down over and over again himself and grind out a decision, or he can end up just outstriking Dan Ige and putting on a brawl where he ends up winning it because he's the better technical striker. But yeah, guys, it's going to be the second leg of that parlay. My most confident parlay of the night. It's going to be Freed Basharat, and I'm parlay. All right, guys, this is going to be the third leg of that parlay. It's going to be Magomedov Ankalaev taking on Alexander Rakic. And I'm going to be taking Magomedov Ankalaev in this one, guys. I think he's going to be able to just beat up Rakic. I think the only way Rakic can win this fight is if Rakic can just take him down over and over again. And honestly, I don't think he's going to be able to. Magomedov Ankalaev has good takedown defense. He has good takedowns himself. He has good wrestling himself, but he likes to strike a lot more. I think this is going to be one of those fights where Ankalaev just tries to keep the fight standing up for himself and end up just outstriking Rakic and ends up knocking out Rakic. Rakic hasn't fought anybody that's really good and beat them in a long time. He just fought Yuri Prochazka, took down Yuri. Yuri gets back up and ends up knocking him out. And I honestly think this is going to be almost the same thing. But the difference is he's not going to be able to get Ankalaev down. He's going to shoot that takedown real quick and early in the fight, realize he's not going to be able to get it, and then from there it's going to be where Ankalaev is just going to be outstriking this guy, probably end up knocking him out in the second or third round. But he also could win a decision victory, guys. So I'm just very confident in Magomedov Ankalaev, guys. He's going to be the guy that's going to be the one that has a chance of beating Alex Pereira for the title. And I just think the UFC is trying to just hide him from Alex right now. I think Alex wants to fight this guy, but the UFC is kind of trying to save their cash cow before he goes in there and beats Alex with the takedowns. But Give me Magomedov ML, guys, as the third leg of that parlay with Freed, Basharat-Murphy. I'm very confident in Magomedov ML. I think he's going to end up getting the late knockout after Alexander Rocha gets gassed out. So, yeah, guys, this next fight is going to be Robert Whittaker taking to Khamzat Chimaev. Guys, we've been waiting for this fight for a long time. I'm very excited for this fight. This is the fight I've been wanting to see for a while. Khamzat Chimaev is one of those guys that are just dominating. He's been dominating everybody, taking them down over and over again. The only two people that have given him trouble were Gilbert Burns and Kamaru Usman. Where Kamaru Usman is one of the best welterweights of all time, and Gilbert Burns is a title contender where he's been around, a long-time veteran, and Khamzat Chimaev is getting better and better every single fight, where, honestly, guys, this is a fight where I think it's a big step up for him. I think at this point, Robert Whittaker is probably the hardest fight he's had, and I'm going to be taking Robert Whittaker as the underdog, guys. I think Robert Whittaker has fought a lot of wrestlers. I think he knows exactly what to do. I'm thinking he knows how to keep a fight standing up. He knows how to get back up to the feet when he's on the floor. He knows how to survive a round on the floor just so he can be standing up the next round. So, honestly, guys, this is going to be one of those fights where Khamzat Chimaev is going to go out there and try to shoot a takedown in that first round. And honestly, I do think he gets that takedown. I think he gets a takedown in the first round, ends up gassing out after the first or second round with shooting his takedowns over and over again. And Robert's going to be giving him trouble. Robert's going to give him a lot of trouble with his own takedown defense. And honestly, when he's on the floor, he's going to be able to get back up a couple times and get taken down again. So I just think all of that's going to wear on Khamzat Chimaev. And in those late rounds, third, fourth, and fifth, that's where Robert Whittaker is going to come alive. I think Robert Whittaker is going to start landing hard shots. Robert Whittaker is going to start moving forward, maybe even take this guy down with his own wrestling, just because Khamzat's going to be so tired. I can see Robert Whittaker getting a fourth or fifth round knockout, guys, where Khamzat just so gassed he can't even keep his hands up anymore, and Robert Whittaker just lands some heavy shots and ends up landing that jab. We all know Robert Whittaker has a very elite jab, and I can see him just beating up Khamzat Chimaev in those later rounds. So it's going to be one of those fights, like I said, guys, where Khamzat Chimaev either finishes him very early, or if this fight gets pushed to that fourth or fifth round, Robert Whittaker is going to be a live underdog in those rounds, guys. So give me Robert Whittaker, guys. I think he's going to end up knocking out Chimaev in that fifth round. I'm taking Robert Whittaker on the money line. All right, guys, this is going to be the main event of the night. And honestly, guys, I'm very excited for this one. This is going to be the fight I've been waiting for all year. I'm telling you, like, since Ilya knocked out Volkanovski, I've been waiting for this fight. And let me tell you guys a little background story. I'm the biggest fan of Ilya Topuria. Since he made his debut and he fought Yusuf Zalal, I had a huge bet on Ilya Topuria that night, and I cashed the fuck out after Ilya Topuria went and beat Yusuf Zalal. Yusuf Zalal is a good fighter himself, and that was a good person for him to make his debut against. After he won that fight, I looked over at one of my friends I was watching the fights with. I told him, Ilya Topuria is going to be champion one day. He looked at me like I was crazy, and he said, no, he is not that good. He's not on that level. I told him, yes, he is on that level. This guy's going to be a champion. I can just see it already. His skill set, he's one of the best all-around mixed martial artists I have ever seen. And boom, 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 knockout after knockout, win after win, submissions, knockouts. This guy has been winning fights left and right, and then he came in and fought Volkanovski. Told everybody he's gonna be the first one to knock out Volkanovski. People looked at me like I was crazy. People were saying Volk's too good for him. Volk is this, and guess what? Boom, knocked out Volkanovski. Another one. And honestly, guys, I'm on the Ilya Topuria train again. I think he's gonna be the first one to knock out Max Holloway. I think he's gonna go in there and finish Max Holloway and be the first one and be the champion. We're all gonna be sitting there like, wow, this guy is honestly is literally the next level. He's gonna be the big star. He's gonna be bring that giant gate to Spain, where they're gonna play at the Santiago. I forgot to pronounce I'm not Spanish, guys. I can't even pronounce it, but you guys know what I'm saying. The Real Madrid Stadium. He's gonna sell out giant stadiums, in my opinion. But let me say one thing. This line is completely off. When I thought this fight was coming on, I thought I was going to get Topuria at like a minus 150, minus 160. I was like, all right, that's a great bet. I'm taking it all day. You're telling me Ilya Topuria is a minus 270 at this moment over Max Holloway. Guys, that line is off. If you guys are betting this fight, I just talked up Ilya Topuria, but if you're going to be betting this fight, all the money's on Max Holloway. All the value's on Max Holloway. Ilya Topuria doesn't get that quick knockout in that first or second round, maybe not even that third round. What if he gasses out? What if he tires in the 4th or 5th round where Max Holloway is known to just start putting on pressure? And what if Max ends up getting a 4th or 5th round knockout, or maybe even winning a decision, a close decision after Ilia Diaz is out? But yeah, guys, like I said, I'm the huge Ilia Topuria fan. I think he's going to knock out Max Holloway. My prediction for this fight is Ilia Topuria knocks out Max Holloway. But if you're telling me, Randy, you're going to get a minus 270 over Max Holloway, that he's been on this run he's been on, that's crazy. That's honestly a crazy line. And if you're betting this fight, guys, go take Max Holloway, in my opinion. There's no reason to bet that minus 270 on Ilia Topuria. Like, maybe if you believe he's gonna knock him out too, go take that knockout prop. But the line is way off. The value is all on Max Holloway, guys. I'm not going to bet this fight at all. I'm just going to watch it as a fan. My pick is Ilia Topuria. I think he knocks out Max Holloway. But like I said, the value is all on Max Holloway, guys. So I understand if you're betting Max Holloway in this fight. But my pick for this fight is Ilia Topuria knocks out Max Holloway in this one. And alright, guys, that is it for today's UFC video. Like I said, I'm sorry I got this video out late. I spaced it that it was way early in the morning. So hopefully you guys get to check out this video before the event starts. And like I always say, guys, if you guys are still here listening to my voice, click that like button, just a thumbs up. Helps me generate a whole bunch more people to my videos. So click the thumbs up and like the video. Also, guys, leave me a comment. All the comments help me generate more people in my videos as well. Just so leave a comment. Let me know how you guys been doing. Let me guys know what bets you guys have on this fight. Let me guys know who you guys are leaning on this fight. And also, guys, don't forget to subscribe to the page. I do all different types of sports. I do MMA, I do NBA, I do the NFL, I do soccer every single day. I'm here giving you guys a whole bunch of content. So just come back every single day and just check out the videos. So just subscribe to the page, guys. And all right, guys.